Everybody an opportunity here. I know the gentleman in the back had a question. I want to allow him to have a question.
This is more of a rhetorical question, actually.
Okay.
The horizontal drilling, we know it's going to be horizontal drilling. I mean, it's shale. I'm from Cape Breton. I'm not from the area. I'm more involved than you guys because I've already been through all this and getting the same place as everybody else has so far. Horizontal drilling, about 1940, basically used high pressure water and sand. Halliburton then found out that if they threw a bunch of chemicals together, then we'll make this even easier. Most of them carcinogenic. The first land leases were starting to be sold about 2003, or rented, or whatever you want to call them, in Cape Breton. I haven't gone back far enough, but 2003 seems to be the latest. 2009, the Environmental Assessment Act was re-released, amended. Petroworth application was put in 2009 in September. There is nothing, absolutely nothing in there on an oil exploration, either onshore or offshore. There is a couple of things that would trigger it, though, would be if the oil pad disturbed more than 2 hectares of wetland. 2 hectares is a pretty big drill rate. So I'm just wondering why we're playing catch-up with all this. Why are we playing catch-up with our regulations on energy, and why are we playing catch-up on the environment, and why is the government all of a sudden now announcing that they're looking for best practices from other provinces, best practices from the states and other jurisdictions, when since August this has been in the papers, and you could put Google News type of fracking and be sickened every day by what has been spilling. We were told we had to trust the government back when they introduced DDT. So not to worry about DDT, it'll cure all your ails. And we were told to trust the pharmaceuticals when thalidomide was introduced. We found it too late that both of them weren't. Wells are now leaking that have been fracked in the past. Just finding out about this and finding out the damage they're doing. Why do we have to do the same things they did? Why can't we not just put the brakes on this and pay attention to what is happening and just stop it?
But it's a rhetorical question, but
yeah.
Yet there's some, I think that there are some points that you made, which I think I should add a little commentary to, because some of the context is not quite as accurate as as it could be. So if I can help with that, and I think we all know that, and I was at the Western Cape Breton open house back in the fall. I don't know whether you were there or not, but I was there for that. The Petition held, and there'd been something like probably 20 wells drilled in the Lake Ainslie area since 1869. First in 1869 with Wood Derrick, but some in the 1910s, some in the 1930s. All will have gone well below potable water, all of them. Today's technology is, and I know it's a little comfort, but I'm just saying it. Today's technology is far greater than it was back in 1910 and the 1930s.
Okay, which one are those?
No, hang, if I can finish and then get to that. The Nova Scotia's had regulated oil and gas activity in the onshore for decades and decades, including land up in Cape Breton. And I think what's happened this time that's different than last time is that the whole notion of hydraulic fracking associated with shale has raised a very much heightened level of concern.
Yeah,
and there's a
it's 20 years,
but there's,
that's not enough.
Well, hang on.
They've said that it's not good enough, but they haven't got the technology right yet. It's uncontrollable. It's not controllable.
Okay, so there are some facts, and there are some cons. There is some fiction as well. And when you look for the truth, which is a comment you made earlier, looking for the truth, and when you dig into it, you find that you can separate the truth from the fiction. Now the truth, as we've been able to discern it by looking at a lot of material, is that hydraulic fracking can cause problems under certain kinds of circumstances, right? And it's those circumstances that you cannot adequately mitigate against, and it's not allowed. However, if you're down, for example, 1,500 meters, there's not enough energy in the world to split it all the way to the aquifer. There just isn't. The steel's not that
But you gotta
strong.
go through the aquifer.
No, okay, I'm just trying to explain the science
That was
about it,
the
right?
fact.
You cannot be 1.5 kilometers underground and crack something all the way up. You just can't do it.
Why the heck?